Broadway's brightest live. Wife spent Thursday nights drunk in a dive. They're friends with Rye, and he's a Broadway guy. He's your Broadway and entertainment BFF. It's Live with Rye and Friends on Broadway. He's a bundle of joy and happiness. He loves being here for you. He's a theater nerd who will share a word with a Broadway star or two. Our guests will have you on the floor like Orphe, Benanti, and many more. Rye Myers, the gay Ryan Seacrest, your Broadway and entertainment BFF. It's Live with Rye and Friends on Broadway.
Another week of Live with Rye and Friends on Broadway. How is everyone? Woo! So happy to have you. Thank you for coming out. Welcome, welcome, and especially in this heat. That theme song you just heard was my theme song. It is written by the incredible Jay Brancato, composed by Jeffrey Schmelkin, and sung by the incredibly talented Alyssa Ray from American Idol Season 20 Top 9. So thank you to them. Boy, we are in a heat wave. It has been so hot this past week and today. I think today it's supposed to go up to 99. So thank you all for coming out. If you're watching at home, I hope you're staying cool and hydrated. So thank you. And I'll tell you, I know I look a little bit different. I'm a little bit more casual than usual. I know I'm usually in my suit jacket, but listen, it's like I'm sweating like a whore in church. So I just needed to, be a little bit more comfortable because this is, I did not want to wear the suit jacket. So I'm a little bit more comfortable today. It's 99 degrees out. What are we going to do? Make sure you also, as you know, I'm here at the Broadway Makers Marketplace. So check out the Broadway Makers Marketplace if you haven't. If you're here in person, check it out. It's at the Columbus Circle. It's at Columbus Circle, the Turnstyle Underground Market. You've walked by it, I'm sure, several times in your passing. But if you want to come visit, just go to the TJ Maxx on 157th and 8th Ave. Head on down the steps, and that's where you'll find us. And you can go online to BroadwayMakersMarketplace.store and shop everything we have in this store, from handmade, one-of-a-kind items. There's over 40 plus vendors here. There's memorabilia, everything you can think of for a Broadway lover. Support the arts. It goes to local artists, and it's helping to support Broadway. So as always, I usually do during this time, I do some Broadway news, and there's been quite a few things that have happened this week. So first off, we welcomed Kite Runner to Broadway on Thursday night, and that's based on the best-selling novel. So I'm very excited. I'm actually going to see that tomorrow. I think they got tickets for that, so that should be really well. And then something exciting that happened on Thursday night, I went to a cocktail party for the release of this new book called Behind the Back Row, which is released by Jim McCarthy. That name may sound familiar because he is the co-founder and CEO of Gold Star and co-founder of Stellar Tickets. Stellar Tickets is an innovative platform. They've just partnered with the Schubert organization. But this book, Jim is the go-to person for anything like live events, and it's the breakthrough potential of digital live entertainment. And it talks about doing live events virtually, everything you need to know from what to avoid, your successes, pitfalls, everything in between. So he signed my copy, and I'm working my way through it. If you are a creator, if you're a producer, if you want to learn more about producing an event digitally, especially in today's world, and how to monetize and capitalize on it, this is the book for you. You can get it wherever books are sold, Amazon, etc. So Beyond the Back Row, and I've been reading it so far, and it's very good. So today we bid farewell to Tracy Lett's groundbreaking play, The Minutes, which is really good. It played a limited run at 54 Below. Did anyone see that here? Did anyone get a chance to see The Minutes? Yeah. No? You saw it? Amazing. Our guests saw it. It's a very good show. It was one of those shows that was here in 2020 and then obviously closed with the pandemic, but came back, which is super exciting. And great cast. Jesse Mueller was in it. And then some exciting casting news. We've had some casting news come out this week. Six will welcome 3 new queens into the queendom, starting on August 9th, which is so exciting. Carrie Renee Fuller, who I believe right now is the Jane Seymour alternate, will take over full-time in that role. Bree Jackson will take over as Catherine of Aragon, and Brennan Lark will take over as Catherine Parr. The original Broadway cast members, Addams Mueller, who plays Jane Seymour currently, and Adriana Hicks who's currently Catherine of Aragon. They leave on August 7th, and then Joy Woods leaves who's Catherine Parr, leaves on the 31st of July. So that new Queendom, it's so exciting. If you haven't seen 6, you need to. I know a lot of us here have seen 6. It's so good. And finally, Cheyenne Jackson today steps into the role of Cinderella's Prince and the Wolf, starting today for Gavin Creel for 1 week only, as Gavin is out doing some prior obligations. So if you have the chance to see Cheyenne Jackson in the role, you must. I hear he's very, very good. He's in for a week only, so make sure you get your tickets, because after a week he will be gone, and hopefully I get the chance to see him. And with that, I'm so excited to welcome today's guest. If you've been to Broadway recently, you've seen the show Mr. Saturday Night, which I have a playbill here, you've seen her in it. She is a very talented artist, and she is doing so much. I'm so excited to welcome her to the show. Please help me welcome my fabulous guest, Tatiana Wechsler. Hi, Tatiana.
Hello, thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Sorry, hold on, I'm a little parched here.
Of course, great to hear the news.
Yes.
What's going on?
Did you know a lot of that, or?
I did actually.
Amazing. I'd love to hear that. No, I love to hear that. Some people don't. So that's why I'm here to fill everyone in about what they need to know.
Yes.
And you're currently in Mr. Saturday Night on Broadway.
I am my Broadway debut.
Your Broadway debut? Yes. That's exciting. What's that mean to, we'll get into this more later, but I mean, to make your Broadway debut in Mr. Saturday Night alongside Billy Crystal himself, I mean, what's that been like?
Yeah, it's been sort of both surreal at times and also feels so sort of natural, easy. Oh yeah, I'm just at work, another day at work, which is wild. I try to remind myself of 13-year-old me and what she would have thought of all of this.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been. I've learned so much, and I'm surrounded by brilliant, amazing artists. So I'm very thankful.
So many talented artists indeed. So, what was your route to getting into performing as a kid?
Yeah, so I grew up in a family that was very supportive of the arts. My dad's a big theater nerd. Like, when I say theater nerd, I mean he texts me and he's like, "Did you hear that Cheyenne Jackson was in Into the Woods?" Like that kind of theater.
Oh my gosh!
And he'll be like, "Broadway's Cheyenne Jackson is in Into the Woods." So it was surrounding me growing up, and my mom loves the arts and loves music and dance. So growing up, we would always put on shows at home, do elaborate events for birthdays and celebrations, and I didn't really have anything else I thought I would do or wanted to do. So it was just clear to me. And then I started doing theater I grew up in Atlanta.
Right.
And I did theater in the professional theaters around there. I would be in the children's ensemble. I was in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
I know, I read that, and that show got me into loving theater. It is such a sight. It's such a special place in my heart.
It is such a fun show to be in the kids ensemble for, especially as like a first professional entry into the theater world. And I did Beauty and the Beast, and I did the stage premiere of High School Musical 2 on stage, which was
High School Musical.
Very exciting. Yeah, we had an out-of-town tryout and everything. It was very exciting. So I always knew I wanted to do it.
That is so cool. I love that. And as I said, Joseph is very special to me. And I used to perform. I said, well, I hung up a dancing shoes in 2012 after I graduated high school. I know I would never make it as a performer. It wasn't for me. But I actually did High School Musical 2 at one of my summer theater camps that I did. So that's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, I was in the ensemble. We had there was 300 kids in the whole program, so you all split up. But yeah, I did High School Musical 2, so that's so funny.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So you went to NYU studying in the Tisch School of the Arts. I know that this was your dream school, so that meant a lot, of course. What was your experience like going there, and what advice do you have to those who are starting at NYU? Because there's so many people that are going there, and it's such a prestigious school.
Yes, I had the greatest time. I'm so thankful for my time at NYU. I think almost every single one of my jobs can trace back to my time at NYU and the people I met there and worked with. I was the first year of a program there called the New Studio that's now been there for a while. And because of that, I really got to know my professors. We were like their babies. And I trained with amazing people. I knew I wanted to live in New York City. That's the thing too. If you come to NYU, you have to know that you want to be ready to be in the middle of New York City and not have, a campus experience, because your campus is the city. And that's what I want. So,
and you were born here too, so it's
exactly.
Like back, I think, right?
Exactly. I was born here, and I always knew growing up, from the age of like 5, 6, 7, I was like, I want to go to NYU. I want to come back to New York. And I trained with amazing people. I made amazing friends. I had some of my classmates. They're amazing. I was in school with Jelani Aladdin, Frozen, Ariel Spatchel, like amazing teaching moments, like people who are working nonstop and who are amazing people. We were, in the trenches together.
Yes.
It's great to see them shine now. And the advice I would give would be to find your mentors, and really, because you are in the city, they are working professionals. For the most part, that's what's different from other colleges. You are in the city, all the people you train with are actively working. I have worked with almost all of my professors professionally. And so really cultivate those relationships, because they will pay off in your professional career, and to also live your life. Just have fun being in New York and make friends, and because that is something I've really loved, is being able to work professionally with my friends as we, make our way in the business. So you never know what will pay off.
You got that right. That's such good advice, and you really can't get anything anywhere better than in New York. I mean, the fact that the staff is working here. I mean, it is the place to be. It's so so immersive and anywhere else. I mean, you can't get it anywhere else, and that's amazing. So as I mentioned, you're making your Broadway debut alongside Billy Crystal and Mr. Saturday Night. You're understudying the roles of Annie and Susan, which is so exciting. So what has it been like to star alongside the legend himself, Billy Crystal?
Yeah.
I mean, that has to be great. I know you went on a few times.
Yes.
And you're also working alongside Shoshana Bean and Randy Graff. So do you have any fun memories or stories you can share about working with Billy Crystal and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, my Broadway debut was playing Billy Crystal's daughter, which is no pressure, and covering for Shoshana Bean, who was Tony nominated for that performance. My first times going on were sort of a whirlwind, but we were very well rehearsed for understudies in terms of the amount of time we got to be on stage on set. But we never rehearsed with Billy. So it was very much a lesson in staying present and trusting the work was there.
Wow.
And I don't remember much about the first night, but I got to go on a couple times for his daughter, that character, and also for the character that plays his agent, played by Preston Herman, which is also very fun. And I think what was most exciting was, one, to just sort of be in a play again, be in a show again. I've been working through COVID time, through the pandemic, but I haven't done a full-on production. This is my first one. So just to be on stage with the audience, and the audiences love this show. They're so well alive. Yeah, they're so vocal, and with it, that it was very moving and exciting and fun, but also stressful. I was like, just do your job. But then I think maybe the most special thing about my first night on was at the end of the night, we did our curtain call, and then Billy brought me out again and told the whole audience that, this is her Broadway debut, and to hear the whole theater just, applauding for me and supporting me in that, and I had a lot of people there for me that night, and they got that on tape. So
yes.
I can always look back on this. That was really, really special.
That is really special, and what a guide to that. I mean, I know they're doing a lot more Broadway houses nowadays, which is great, but what a gem of a guy to do that, and to call you out to and make you have that moment. That's wonderful.
Yeah,
it's really special.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I bet. And now the crazy thing, we were talking about this earlier. So Billy doesn't have an understudy. There's no understudy for Billy, right?
No, Billy can't be there. There is no show.
Yeah, I
Which
guess
has happened a few times.
Yeah. Everybody wants Billy, which is so interesting. Has there been is there like a funny moment or like a blooper that like you've had, whether it was on stage with him or in the rehearsal room, that you can share that you've had with him?
Yeah. Actually, this is what that was funny in the moment for me, or more afterwards. I was on for the agent character, and it must have been the first time I was on. And there was some scene at the end of Act 1, and it's a moment where the whole cast is on stage, and I'm downstage with him, talking to him. And I think I should have been a little bit more down and to the left or something. And in the moment, he's looking at me and he's acting with me, but he's like tilting his head. And I remember in the moment being like, is he telling me to go more downstage, or is he okay? I was like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm just gonna keep saying my lines. And then afterwards, maybe the next day, he was like, oh, did you see me like going like that? And I was like, yeah, I didn't know what was happening, so I just kept going. But then I figured it out later on. But the thing about him is that he's very, some shows get very frozen. They're very locked in.
Mm-hmm.
This is not one of those shows.
Oh, that's good.
This is a show where he will stay loose and he will play with what the audience is giving him, and you just have to be present and respond truthfully to whatever you get thrown at you, which is a fun exercise. It's fun, isn't it?
That does sound like a lot of fun. And what a great story too. I mean, that had to be really interesting to learn. Like, okay, you're okay. You're just telling me you're right. Is it hard though? Like, is it confusing for you all when it sort of goes into that? If he riffs or goes on, is it hard to keep up with, or does he do it in a way that it also flows with the dialogue of the show?
It tends to. It's always within the scope of the storytelling, the scope of the show.
Yeah.
I also, for me, it's my first time understudying. I've never understudied, and I've never been not only understudying but also being an offstage cover. So I don't get the muscle memory of being in the show every night, which is interesting, and I've learned a lot just from that. Understudy, swings, covers. It's a hard job.
It is. Let's give a round of applause for understudies and swings and covers. They are the true saviors of Broadway. I mean, really.
It's hard, and the thing that I feel thankful for is that I just felt prepared the whole time. I felt like actually covered 3 roles, and I felt like I've known them all, so I didn't feel stressed in terms of knowing what to do.
Yeah.
But in terms of just going with the flow of it, because it's a comedy and it has a lot of stand-up in it, it just has felt natural to just be thrown in.
Right.
Yeah, something about the nature of the show, I'm like, yeah, maybe I've never done it with Billy, but we'll see what happens. It'll be fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great way to go about it, and that just shows your skill as an actor to be able to sort of roll with the punches, as they say. So you grew up in an African and Jewish household, which was, as you mentioned, was a big supporter of the arts. Does being in Mr. Saturday Night on Broadway hold a special place with the show's Jewish roots and everything? And
Absolutely.
Jewish as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got to do a fair amount of work that connects to, my Jewishness. I've done a lot of work in Yiddish theater with the National Yiddish Theater Folksbiene, who did the very well-received Fiddler in Yiddish, which was a wonderful production. I wasn't in that, but I've done a lot of work with them. And then I've also done other work with other Yiddish groups. And then separate from that, other Jewish groups. And this is really special because Billy Crystal is one of those performers who I don't even remember knowing him. As in, I'm like, I don't remember the moment of learning who he was. Because I just knew who he was. And so many of the references, I mean, it's a very particular New York Jewish vibe. My family's from New York and Jewish. And so all the little references, the Yiddishisms, the style of humor and the energy feels very familiar, and I'm really thankful that I am able to share that part of myself in my art and Also, my grandma got to see it, who she's about to be 93. Yes,
Oh, wow.
and she
Shout
lives
out to
in
that.
Yonkers, and she got to see me on my first night on, and that was really special. Because we have some family members who were big into Yiddish theater back in the day, and so it feels sort of like this isn't Yiddish theater specifically, but it feels like full circle to be continuing that. So. Yeah, anytime I get to do something that, and actually a little special backstage thing is every week we have a Shabbat moment. So every week the cast comes together backstage Friday, maybe 40 minutes before the show. And usually Shoshana and I do the prayers, or everybody does the prayers. Everyone does the prayers. But I feel like Shoshana and I are like the ringleaders of the event. And then like certain people, like maybe some weeks Billy does the Challah prayer and someone else does. But we do the couple of prayers and say some words and have the wine, the Manischewitz, and challah. And that's really, I don't know that I've ever done a show where we do Shabbat every week. So that's really special too.
Wow, that is really special, and it's what a great tradition to do, backstage as well, and have that's great. So you've done many shows. This is your Broadway debut, but you've been in so many. One of the ones you've been in, which I saw it when it was at Two Rivers, is Love and Hate Nation.
Yeah.
It's the musical by Joe Iconis. I saw it. The album just came out recently. The Revolution song, which has taken the theater world by storm. It was on YouTube. I think it was one of the first singles released from it.
Yeah.
It's quite powerful, especially in today's world. So tell me a little bit more about the show. Do you know? I mean, I saw it at Two Rivers in November of 2019.
Yes.
Really fell in love with that Joe Iconis show. I thought that this was finally a hit. I thought that this was a really good show, really powerful. Did you, do you know, sort of what's happening with it? What's the update? I mean, the album is great.
Yeah, I'm so thankful that album got made. I first interacted with the show in 2017. I did a workshop playing the character of Judith Ramone, who I played in the full production, she's a mean girl. She's the bully of the group, which was fun to inhabit. We first did it then, and then it got developed at university, and then we did it in New Jersey in 2019. And getting the album made took a while. I know that Joe really wants a future life for it, I'm sure, there's so many amazing parts for young women in it. In particular, and the score is really good. Check out the album, folks. It's fun.
Check out the album. Yes.
And it's a very empowering story, and I really hope it has. I'm not privy to any news about anything special happening, but I know that he wants more life for it, so I hope it does.
I certainly hope so, because I saw that show and it was such a good. I love a lot of his songs, but this show, I was like, this has so much potential.
Yes.
Such a good story. It's, female empowerment in the sense of the moral of the story, but it's so interesting to learn about that time and this detention center for girls who are, it's a conversion, right? They're all
there for different reasons. So some of them are, some of them, stole or
right.
Other
So it's like the juvie, right?
Yeah, they're
the
juvie
songs are great. Revolution song, the Sheila L. song.
The three failed escape attempts of Sheila L.
Three failed escape attempts of Sheila L. You must listen to it. You must purchase it. So.
Yes.
But also on that note of performing and singing, you're actually going to be performing for us today.
Yes.
Could you tell us what you're going to be singing?
Yes, I'm going to be singing a song from Mr. Saturday Night. It's sung by the character of Susan, who is his daughter. It's called Maybe It Starts With Me, and Susan and her dad, Buddy Young Jr., played by Billy, have a difficult relationship, to put it lightly. And this is a song where it starts off in a therapy meeting for her, where she's thinking, what I've been doing has not been working. And so maybe I gotta try a different approach.
Amazing. Well, let's get this show on the road. I am so excited. Thank you. I am so excited for everyone to hear this. You were doing such a early. It sounded beautiful. Let me get myself on the way. Take it away whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Thank you.
under his shadow, even now. Fighting these fights I never can win. He gets his way right under my skin. I keep hoping one day things will be different. Don't ask how. To finally be the father I wish he'd be. Facing the problem logically, maybe it's time I finally see. Okay, I get it. Maybe it starts with me. Remember how he made you cry on your birthday? Yeah, so all these old memories dragging you down. How long you're gonna let them around? Mom would always take his side and protect him. Ooh, let it go. Save it up for your memoirs or set it free. Plenty of people live with pain. Don't throw their whole lives down the drain. If I'm a screw up, maybe it starts with me. Okay, so they weren't the parents I wanted, that's pretty clear. Well, let's be honest, I haven't exactly been daughter of the year. So here I go, starting now, starting over, wish me luck. Somebody say, as long as there's life, there's hope. Maybe I'll find the way I lost. I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed. The way I've been going, I can't defend it. This war between us, who's gonna end it? Christ, what a concept. Maybe it starts with me.
Tatiana Wechsler, everyone. Round of applause again. And the incredible Joshua Wechsler here on the keys. Incredible, so incredible. So again, another round of applause. Yes, round of applause for Joshua Turnstyle. Round of applause for Tatiana Wechsler. Oh my gosh, that was so good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing that.
Thank you so much.
What a great treat and such, I love that. And you have some great powerful chops. Do I see maybe Wicked in your future?
Oh my gosh.
So Shoshana, I mean, you got those powerful chops.
Thank you, that's very kind. Thank you.
Is that a dream role?
You know what? It actually never has been. Although I love that show. I remember first discovering that album and listening to it. It seems like a very stressful role.
I understand.
But I applaud all the artists out there. Yeah.
Well,
Ready for that movie.
oh, me too. Well, on the topic of singing, being a singer, you're also a singer-songwriter on your own self, right?
Yeah.
Music, and you're doing a show tomorrow, an improv show, correct?
Yes, I am doing a show tomorrow, and I'm going to improvise an entire musical. I don't have a lot of details, so it's funny because
Wow.
it's like I don't know much else to tell you other than it'll be at Asylum. It's on West 26th tomorrow at 9:30.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a great place.
And it's with a great group called Shitsprove, which is some wordplay there. But I don't know what it'll be, but it'll happen, and I'll be there, and the musical will happen, and I don't know.
So you're doing it with the group.
Yes, the group will be there, and so they do this, I believe every month, and they have a guest from Broadway, and the group is there, and then the guest, I think, leads the improv of an original musical.
And so you gotta find out the musical, I guess, that night, right? Like,
In the moment,
I've
I've been given nothing.
Wow, that is true artistry right there. I mean, that sounds fun and exciting and nerve-wracking and everything all at the same time.
I'm very excited. I love improv stuff, and whose line is it anyway? So I'm thrilled by the prospect of it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So you are a big proponent for equality and racial justice, and Broadway has obviously been grappling with its own issues. Your experience also being African and Jewish in two minority groups, who unfortunately have been the center of discrimination with both. How have you taken it into your work to sort of bring light to that, to be able to bring light to being proud to be African and Jewish and making that happen so people can see the justice and everything going on in that. We're at a time where it's so important to focus on racial justice and equality and lifting up minorities. So you're a big proponent. So sort of tell us a little bit about that and some of the things you're involved with as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It is something that is very important to me. There are a lot of different avenues that I try to be involved. Sometimes it's just performing and just being and just existing. I got to do a really amazing production of Oklahoma at Oregon Shakespeare Festival in 2018, where I played Curly. Actually, I was the first woman ever to play Curly, and some of the roles were gender swapped. So, and Curly and Lori were two women, and then there was Will and Ado Andy. And what that production, and also I did a show about the life of Malcolm X that was an all-black cast telling that story. We did that on tour and here off Broadway. Doing shows like that really showed me the impact of representation in arts, because the amount of people who would go see those shows and say to me after, like, how life-changing it was just to see us telling these stories with these people in those shows. That was so just affirming for me as an artist, but also really made me show that artists can change the world and that we can, with our stories, affect people and change how they see themselves. I think that's when I think of my childhood, anything that I felt represented in that changed it for me. I also, try to be involved with sort of political groups. I am also a part of different groups that are about people of color who are Jews or Black and Jewish folks, which is great. I have a great friend who's a rabbi, Kendall, who has started a number of different groups that are connecting Black and Jewish artists, and that is so powerful to me because I didn't have that specific community growing up, and so there are some of us who there are programs where we go in schools, Jewish day schools, and work with them with texts and arts and theater. Spreading awareness, and it's hard. That's the thing too, is like it's taxing and it's hard, and I don't have all the answers, but I know the people that I believe in, and I know working with those people I believe in and following them can ultimately lead to change. I've taken part in some of the marches and things to try to make change in this industry, and it's hard. And it's hard getting back to Broadway. There are some things that are changing. That's the thing.
There are some things that are changing. There are some progress that's happened, but
absolutely. But there's more to do,
yes.
and
it unfortunately also doesn't happen overnight. But it's
absolutely it doesn't. But I in my own work that I try to do, I try to find affirming work that brings something positive into the world in some way.
yes.
But also everything is political, so everything is important to be a part of. Whether it's I volunteered as on voting day. I was one of the people working. Thank you. Yes, I was a poll worker on voting day. So I just think there are many ways for people to be involved. And if you're someone who's feeling like I don't know what to do, there are 100 different ways you can do things. And just if you seek out the folks that you are a fan of who are doing things, you can join in.
Yeah, that's very important. Thank you for sharing that. It's great. And one of the things, focusing on your Jewish heritage, one of the things you did, I think it was in 2020, and I hope I get it right, you performed a musical, it was all in Yiddish, right? You sang virtually all, your concert was in all. Increased, I think was it in 2020?
That was in 2020, yes.
And that was really cool. I mean, you grew up, I remember, I read that you grew up practicing that and going to Hebrew school, but yeah, that must have been really nice to be able to put that out there and have everyone, see that. And, I wish there was more things like that to be able to, I didn't get a chance to see Fiddler when it was here in Yiddish, but that must have been very nice to present.
Yeah, it was very exciting to be able to connect with Yiddish music, and I've done Yiddish theater, but that was a concert of my own that the folks at Folksbean at the Yiddish Theater contacted me and said, hey, do you want to do a concert? And I said, let's do it. So I wrote some original music for it, and then I did some classic Yiddish standards. I did some standards that are usually performed in English in Yiddish, which was really fun. And again, getting to hear from some folks who grew up with Yiddish and just loving to hear it, that language continued and the culture continued on. Other folks who are also Black and Jewish feeling, enjoying seeing someone like them perform this as well. It's very special for me whenever I get to perform it.
That's wonderful, and that's so great. Well, we're going to do some trivia now.
Oh my God!
I'm very excited. We are giving away some awesome things from the store. In my travels of getting ready today, I said on social media that I had prizes for everyone, and I left them at home. What can you do? We're all human. So we'll have them next week at another time. So we're going to be giving away some things from the store, including things from Months of Love, candles. So how this is going to work is I'm going to say these questions. You're welcome to partake. You don't have to. I always say to my guests, it's not required. It's no pressure. And you can raise your hand ideally, but if you shout it out if you know, and the person who gets it right will get the prize, and you can go see Michael for the prize. And these should be pretty basic if you know Broadway trivia, but I'm also happy to give some multiple choice as well. So first question is, what is the name of Annie's dog in the musical Annie? Sandy, yes, Sandy! You got it.
Nice.
Okay, I know that was an easy one, but I laugh because every week I do this, and I love doing it. It's one of my favorite parts of the show. Yeah. And I feel like these are such easy questions, and I do who was the original alphabet, and it's like crickets, or it's I'm just saying I think it's so easy, and then I feel bad because nobody knows, so then I'm like, so I guess but I've learned also sometimes multiple choices too. So, if you were paying attention, which hopefully you all were, what was the name of the Joe Iconis musical in which Tatiana played the character Judith at Two Rivers Regional Theater in New Jersey?
I can't answer.
The Joe Iconis musical. What was the name of the Joe Iconis musical? That she starred in as Judith. It was the song was called Revolution Song.
It's not. What do we celebrate on Valentine's Day?
No, I start to realize I'm finding love.
It's the opposite of that.
You're close. Love and Hate Nation. We'll give it to you. Love and Hate Nation. Congratulations. You were very, very close. So you get it. Congratulations, my friend. What's your name? Nick. Congrats, Nick. You were very close. So when you have a sec, go see Michael, and he'll give you a prize from the store. Love and Hate Nation was the show that she was in. She played Judith in the Joe Iconis musical. Alrighty. How many daughters does Tevye have in Fiddler on the Roof? How many daughters does Tevye have in Fiddler on the Roof? Five. Yes, congrats. Yes.
Everyone forgets about the younger two.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
It's got five. And we'll do one final one, and if it's a double winner, that's great too. Which character did Renee Zellweger play in the musical adaptation of Chicago? Roxy Hart, yes, congrats. You get a prize as well, so we can pick it out or pick it with the family. So another thing for Josh, if Josh wants to. So congratulations, yes, Roxy Hart as well. Congratulations, everyone. Awesome job. I love that movie. Yeah, I love it. It was one of the musicals that were done very well. Very well.
Gosh. I used to watch it so much growing up. That was one of my cornerstone.
Yeah.
musical movies.
And the funny thing is, I just learned the other day that I was talking to somebody who was working on. They were very nervous at the time that and Phantom of the Opera. They were very nervous that those two movies were going to like ruin, would making them ruin the success of what they posted.
What was running on, because they were both running on Broadway.
They were both running at Broadway at the time. It was the early 2000s, and they were very, very nervous. I mean, it went along, obviously, and it was clearly didn't hurt them. It was a smash success. So
I mean, almost 20 years later, they're both running.
and they're still running almost 20 years later for the one, 25 years, and 33 for Phantom. So I mean, it's a big thing. So, so what are some of your dream roles that you have that you want to play one day?
Well, ultimately, I feel like this is maybe sort of a cop-out for some people, but playing new roles is really my favorite thing. I love getting to do things like Judith Ramone was so exciting. I do a lot of workshops and readings and developing characters. I love working with, a living writer who's in the room. But I was able to play a lot of amazing roles in high school and college, and I love a second chance at almost all of them.
Love it.
So I played Baker's wife in Into the Woods. I'd love to be her and or the witch.
Well, I mean, listen, there's September 4th, but unfortunately, Mr. Saturday Night closes. She'll be available, everyone. So
hello, I saw their production. It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful production.
Gorgeous.
So if somebody's watching the casting team, Telsey, I mean, she's available.
Hey. Yeah, I got to do that, and then in college, I did Passing Strange, which I love that show. That was in Broadway 2008.
Yes.
Love to do that. I was Joanne and Company. I was much too young. I was a
love
20-year-old Joanne. So I got some time for that, but that was really fun. I was the beggar woman in Sweeney Todd. So fun. Love that track. Love, Sondheim shows. But I also got to do, I was Sarah in Ragtime, and Jelani Aladdin was my Coal House.
Oh my
It was
God.
very special and sweet. So that role was amazing. Loved doing that show.
That is a show that's funny. That and Sweeney Todd are two shows. I would love to see Sweeney Todd come back to Broadway in some sort of, their immersive version they do downtown. I'm really going to see that. Was incredibly done, and I'd love to see, that come back in some way.
Yes.
And Ragtime, that show is just timeless, and I just would love to see a revival of that. It's so much, I know they had one, I think, about 10 years ago or whatever, or 12 years ago, 2009, but we'd love to see, there's so many things that, because that unfortunately didn't last long, but just, that show is so iconic, so pivotal in the Broadway sphere and everything, and
Absolutely. And another perk of going to NYU is the thing is when I did these shows, oftentimes the composers would come. So like when I did Passing Strange, Stu and Heidi came. When I did Ragtime, the Aaron and Flaherty came. So like that's another perk. If you go to school in New York City, they might come.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was really exciting.
That is super exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, to have them come to see that was exciting and nerve-wracking, but really cool. Did they get feedback?
Yeah, they were so sweet. They chatted with us both shows. They chatted with us afterwards and were lovely.
I love that. Well, we're wrapping up here, Tatiana. So where can we keep up with you? Where can we follow you? Tell us sort of the good stuff.
Absolutely. So on Instagram and Twitter, though I barely tweet, I am Tati Wex, TatiWex. And then I have a website, TatianaWechsler.com. My last name is spelled WECHSLER, so there is an X, it's kind of confusing. But if you just go to @TatiWex on Instagram in particular, I've got links to everything there.
Amazing. And you have a website as well?
Yes, TatianaWechsler.com.
TatianaWechsler.com. I love that. And if you all want to continue to keep up with me, you can keep up with me on Instagram at Rye_Myers. It's Rye with an E, that's Liza with an E, as I say. And official Rye Myers on Facebook and www.ryemusic.com for all things hosting. And if you want to learn more about producing or see my producing projects, you can go to ryeentertainment.com. Tatiana, thank you so much for doing this. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time. I'm so thrilled to join you. Thank you for coming from your show. It's been so empowering, so exciting, so wonderful to learn about you, to hear what you're doing, and just it's so exciting.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Well,
Thank you, Brandon. Joshua, thank you.
yes, thank you, Joshua, everyone. Well, a round of applause as we head out for Tatiana, everyone.
Woo!
For Tatiana, for Joshua. We'll see you all next week for Live with Rye Friends on Broadway here at the Broadway Makers Marketplace. Thank you to everyone here, to Zoe, to Michael, everyone in between for all their help. Come on out to the Broadway Makers Marketplace, shop, go online, and check out Live with Rye and Friends on Broadway here every Sunday at the Broadway Makers Marketplace. Have a great week.